Okay, welcome down to the Devon Koi Pond. The sun's come out now. So I've got a little video clip in a minute of me cleaning the first vortex and answer, and I'll show you what I do with my water and water changes. Now I know to a lot of people they change 15 to 20% of the water weekly. Well, I find I don't really have to do that. The veg filter kind of cures my nitrate problem, so the nitrate's always running at tap level or just below. So really the only water I change in a week is what I use to clean the filters. Now I'm not a gardener, got a few plants here dotted around that the better half likes to play with, but that's about it. So I've got nothing that needs watering, so all that water kind of goes to waste. Now I probably change with the filter cleaning about 200 gallons a week, something like that. Now 200 gallons a week, probably in the lot, but if you tot it up all the way through the summer and you're on a water meter, if you can find a use for that water, use it. Now I just happen to have a full-on horticulturalist, dead keen gardener next door that's got an allotment, big garden, lots of apple trees in their garden, plants in the greenhouse, who's conveniently popped a 45-gallon drum just over the fence that I can pump my water into. They're delighted each time I fill it, and I usually manage to fill it 2-3 times a week as I clean different filters. So I'll show you a quick video of me filling that one up. I've got it set up on my system so that I can bleed water off rather than it going down to the drain. This is one of the advantages, obviously, of having a pumped sump system. I can literally pump it from that sump really to more or less anywhere I want by putting some different fittings on the pipes. But in this, I'm pumping it next door, saving a pensioner's water bill and recycling the water. Not that I'm a greenie, but it's a shame just to tip it down the drain. It's lovely water for your plants. So let's pop over and have a look at that video. Hi, welcome down to Devon Koi Pond. Over here we're having a look at, I'm cleaning the first sieve filter, the answer. I'm going to clean out the vortex, and I'm going to show you what I do with my wastewater. Now a lot of people change their water, change 20, 15, 20% of the water weekly to get the nitrates down. I find I don't have to do that because I've got the veg filters. They suck most of the nitrates out, so I've always got a very low nitrate reading. So I'm going to pump this water out, and my next door neighbour happens to be quite a horticulturalist, grows quite a bit, so they're always after water. So I usually pump and fill a water butt or two of theirs, which they've conveniently placed for me just over the other side of the fence. So I can literally pump the water from my sump straight into a 45-gallon drum they've got over there, and this bottom one here normally fills that one right up. So I'm going to clean this one. They'll use that water, and then later on I'll fill it up again when I clean a couple of the easy pods. So I'll shut this one down in a minute and we'll give it a clean. You can see here as this one drains down, the amount of muck this has accumulated, and it's filling into my sump, where this pipe down here going in, and this one's filling up. I can't pump it out too fast when I'm doing this, but it's going through a 43mm pipe next door. I'll run you over to the barrel in a second as it goes, but I'll show you what's happening over here. So, you can see here, normally pumps out straight into the drain pipe. So I have a valve here that I can open and blow it out, and it will run out the pipe across into the water butt. My neighbour Alan's unit we've got there. I can fill it. Just takes a bit of time. I'll fast forward a minute, but usually goes down reasonably quick. Got the pump pumping out at about 5,000 litres an hour. We'll pop over and have a look at the water butt. As I was saying, this is the setup I've got here. The pipe's a little bit uphill, but it's down below the other exit. So it does come over and down. And I can fill that 45 gallon drum. Probably see still quite a lot of the cloverleaf residue in that. I'm going to have to put a hose on it. Now it definitely wants it clean. And so that's changed about 45 gallons of water cleaning that filter. By the time I clean the two easy pods and maybe give the foams a squeeze at the each week, if I decide to do the foams, they don't need doing every week. I can probably get away nearly a month. But as soon as I've had the blanket weed treatment in, and they've been blocking up a little bit more often. But in a normal week, I'll only change about 200 gallons of water. Now, I know a lot of people do change 15%, 20% of water weekly, just to stop their nitrates from climbing. As I said, I don't struggle with the nitrates climbing because of the plants. So I conserve a bit of water, so I presume over a year, probably quite a saving on the amount of water I use and my water bill, hence. So that's what I do with the water. I talk on water changes and also new pond syndrome as well. We might go a little bit into that and why you get it. So let's pop back over to that. Hope you've enjoyed this little bit. Neighbour's got 45 gallons of free dirty water that's good for their apple trees. I've got nothing to put it on, but I'm pouring it over my lawn, and I don't need the lawn growing any more than it is at the moment, so it's probably best not watered. So we'll pop back over and have a look at that in a second. Right, new pond syndrome is something you can get in an old pond as well, but it's usually a new pond because you need to age your water. Your water needs to get old, as they say. It takes a long time to age water properly, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years sometimes for a pond to fully establish itself. But new pond syndrome, you've got your pond, you filled it full of water, and you've chucked a couple of fish in. So at the moment in that pond, there's no bio to eat the ammonia that's being made by the fish, and there's no bio to eat the nitrite that's being made from the ammonia, and hence there's no bio to eat the nitrite and make it into nitrate. Now, it takes a while to build up that biomass. You've got to do it slowly. You can't do it all in one go. It can take weeks, months, a full 12-month cycle on the pond to get it going properly. But new pond syndrome is literally new water. So if you've got new water, take it easy on the feeding, slowly build it up. Lots of pond tests regularly every couple of days. Watch for the spikes in the ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, and as they each spike, don't let them get to danger levels, but they're not going to hurt hovering a little bit high, because this will encourage the bacteria because it gives them more to feed on. But if the spike does get too high and it's starting to look dangerous, do some water changes and bring it back down cut down a little bit on the feeding for a little bit until it starts to balance itself out again, and you need to keep running through that until the cycle builds up. Once the cycle's built up, you can increase the number of fish in the pond slowly. Lots of fish all in at once, or lots of food in all at once, will throw the cycle all to pieces. It takes a while for the filter to balance itself out to the amount of fish you've got in the pond. Your filter also needs to be well OTT for the pond. I found that out over the years. There's no point in playing with a filter that's just about capable of filtering the pond, or just about capable of filtering a pond twice the size. You really need to go OTT. If you want to be able to chuck in handfuls of food every time you pass the pond, feed your fish like they're little piggies, then you've got to have a filter system that's equipped for it. Down on my old pond, I could feed probably about 8 ounces a day tops. 8 ounces a day tops, which was barely enough to keep them satisfied. This is why I changed ponds as well, up to something bigger and a better filter system. I was struggling down there. The water quality was starting to go downhill with the amount of food that I needed to feed them, because they were starving all the time. Simple as that. Up here on this one, the filters I've got up here, I estimate I could filter a pond of about 6,000, 8,000 gallons quite easily. So filtering this little bit of water through it is easy. The fish literally can eat all that I can put in. I've been piling the food in through the summer. They've eaten everything I've chucked in there. They've been like piranhas. The baby ones have been growing tremendously through the summer. Even some of the older fish that have had a bit of stunted growth over the years, because they were in a smaller pond, seem to have caught up, and they're getting fatter and a little bit longer. So, what's your water quality and what's your amount of food you put in? If you look at this picture here, this is the food that the fish have munched their way through already this year. They clear everything I put in the pond. I've not got a problem with how much food I feed them, because the filters can handle it. So they've munched their way through nearly 25 kilos of koi food already. I've got another 5 that which will be their last of their summer feed before I move them on to wheat germ for the winter. And through the winter, probably 5 kilos of wheat germ will see me. I only feed if it's sort of 9-10 degrees through the winter and they're looking interested. I'll put a handful in. If not, they don't get anything. It's not going to hurt them to fast a bit through the winter. And you don't want to be feeding them with low temperatures, because they can't digest the food properly. So this is just a quick look at the amount of food that I've fed. If you're thinking about koi keeping on a serious scale with bigger fish, then prepare yourselves, because it's not a cheap hobby at that. And these buckets of food, they don't come cheaply, and your fish can gulp them down as quick as tipping dog biscuits into a dog bowl for a St. Bernard. They'll munch through them. It's just incredible to watch and see what they will eat. So have a quick look at these pics a minute. You want to go from there. So how much can you feed your koi? Well, mine this year, through the summer months when the water temperature's been high and they've been on the good food like the health and the probiotic, it'll take me 4 tubs of health, 2 probiotics to get through the summer, which will total out at about 30 kilos of food. And then it'll probably take me maybe 5 to 10 kilos of wheat germ through the winter, depending on what the temperatures are. But I know my filters can handle this volume of food for the fish that I've got. You can only feed enough food that your fish will eat and your filters can handle. That's the answer to how much food can I feed my koi. Just what your filters can handle and what they'll eat. If your water starts to go pear-shaped, you're putting in too much food. So that's the feed limit, what your filters can take and what the koi will eat. Mine have eaten 30 kilos of food this summer. Seems like a lot, but I do have in excess of 300 inches of fish in the pond. If I was to take them all out and measure them, it's probably closer to 350. 17 fish, that's a lot of inches of fish, and they're very greedy. But that's the answer to how much food I can feed my koi, what your filters can take and what they'll eat. So quick clip here on the end of the winner of this week's competition. Congratulations, the koi plaque will be on its way to you. If you look on the channel homepage, you'll find my email address there. Email me with the colour you want and your address, and I'll get it off to you in the post. Congratulations for winning it. I'll be running a new competition for another plaque in not the next video, maybe the video after that. I'll run another competition. Remember, I've got 3 more to give away, so stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that click and subscribe button and you stand a good chance of winning a plaque in a future competition. Catch you later. Cheers from down here in Devon. Bye for now. Happy ponding.